Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple of topics I want to try to cover relatively quickly, but let me begin by a question for Ms. Clarke. This op-ed from Newsweek has been referenced repeatedly throughout this hearing with reference to the title. So let me be specific. Did you write the title? Did you pick the title? Was this title your choice?
It was not, Senator. I often defer to the editors I work with on choosing titles. They often have good judgment about a title that will help ensure that your thoughts and ideas get read. It's not a title that aligns well with the piece. I don't support defunding the police.
Thank you for that clarification. Now, let me share with you at least a perspective and a line of thought that's mine, not yours. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but you tell me if you agree or disagree with it. And I speak not just as a current senator and former Secretary of State, but former state senator prior to that, and for 7.5 years having served on the Los Angeles City Council, during which time the city of Los Angeles negotiated and entered into a consent decree to bring about reforms in the Los Angeles Police Department. So both as a resident, someone who grew up in Los Angeles in the 80s and 90s, the role of a police department or a public safety agency is not just to arrest for arrest's sake. It should be part of a comprehensive plan to improve public safety. And what better way to improve public safety, in addition to holding to account those who commit crimes, than to prevent crimes to begin with? So when we talk about how it's used and abused, the term defund the police, it's not just a level of budgeting for a particular department, but if you can invest, as others have suggested, more in mental health, more in education, more in economic opportunities for people, history shows, data shows, crime goes down. And isn't that the ultimate objective, to prevent, if you can, crime from beginning in the first place? Your thoughts?
Absolutely, Senator. This is about providing more resources to ensure public safety and to ensure that law enforcement can do their jobs well. This is about finding ways to work with law enforcement. Sometimes it's by way of consent decrees. Sometimes it's by way of providing technical assistance, as we see the Justice Department doing, grant making, training, and collaboration.
Thank you. Different topic, questions for Mr. Kim. Appreciate our opportunity to connect by phone. Yesterday, as you know, I mentioned not just specifically the Exide plant in Vernon, California, which has gotten a fair share amount of attention, but specifically a letter I addressed to now Attorney General Garland in a concern about this case in particular, but more broadly, the use of non-prosecution agreements as a tool in achieving environmental settlements. In this particular case, there was initially an agreement for the owners of Exide to not just leave the facility, no longer continue the activity that was polluting a largely working class community, but to clean up the land and the mess that they left behind. Through a bankruptcy court, they were allowed to simply leave the facility and leave the taxpayers of California on the hook for cleanup. So any comment about the Exide battery plant in Vernon specifically, or more broadly, should you be confirmed, how you would approach, what policies and considerations you would take in entertaining non-prosecution agreements?
Thank you very much, Senator, for the question. Not being at the department currently, only being a nominee, not having access to internal Department of Justice information, I don't think I'm in a position to comment specifically on that matter. But I can say more broadly that I would approach questions like that one, including questions about non-prosecution agreements, in this particular manner. I would consult with career lawyers and subject matter experts, client agencies as appropriate, to ensure that every enforcement decision, whether criminal or civil, would be based on the facts and on the law.
My time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.